welcome to the new visitors. Members, remember, and also listeners, sign in on the sign-in sheet by the door. You get credit because Kathy's flying home from Seattle now. So while she was in the airport, she called me. Make sure you get that sign-in sheet out and to me. So I got to see her tomorrow, so I'll bring it to her. If there's no objections, we'll suspend the order of business and have the program now. Okay, Robert.
Thank you. As you know, Ann will be our speaker for tonight. She'll be talking on birds of our Rio Grande Valley. Ann Mayville has been with us, Texas Master Naturalist, for 7 years, and she has logged over 4,000 hours of volunteer time. She has been an avid birder since childhood. She conducts weekly survey counts or surveys at Quinta Mazatlan and has volunteered with the RGV Birding Festival and at Bentsen, Rio Grande Valley State Park for many, many, many years, as long as she's been here. She currently serves as our president of this chapter, the Texas South Texas Border chapter of Master Naturalist. So listen in and learn about the birds of the Rio Grande Valley.
Thank you, Robert. I call it the Ann and Ann show tonight. Okay, let me say right off the bat that I'm not an ornithologist. I'm not a biologist. Those were not my courses of study in college. I got a bachelor's degree in nursing and have a license to practice nursing in New York State, where I'm from. So I'll do my best to impart all the information I know about birds, but if I say something you don't feel is, you can let me know at the end. I call myself an occasional birder because I had a bird book, and I would identify the birds and check off the birds and when I saw them. And if I saw a bird in my backyard or at a neighbor's yard, or if I saw a bird at a local park that I went to, then I would record it and write it down. Well, it wasn't until I came to Texas, to the valley, that I learned what birding really was. I found out that these people go out for a whole day looking for these birds. So I became one of those people. The birds I'm going to talk to you about tonight are, I call them specialty birds of the Rio Grande Valley. You can't call them endemic, because endemic means they can only be found here, and that's not true. Some of our specialty birds are birds that can be found in other southwestern states, maybe Southern California, like the roadrunner. And birders come to the valley to see these specialty birds that I'm going to talk to you about tonight. And I participate in the Rio Grande Valley Birding Festival, and birders like to come down because we have guided tours and they can be taken out to see the target birds for that trip. And this year we had birders from, I don't want to give you the wrong, 39 states and 12 countries came here to see these birds. And lots of times the local people don't realize the great birds we have here, and that's why people come here just to see our birds. And you wonder, well, why do people come down here to see these birds? Because most birders keep a life list, and they always want to add to that life list. So they're always looking to go to a different location, a different locale, and find out and look at what their birds are there. Now, some people keep AVA lists, which is the AVA territory is from all of Canada and the US down to the Mexican border. So if they keep an AVA list, that's the area they can see and record birds. Other people keep state lists. So if you eBird divides all that up. My New York birds, my Texas birds, my Arizona birds, and Now, the birders that come here to the valley, they have an economic impact on the valley of millions because they're gonna fly down, they're gonna stay in a motel, they're gonna eat out, they're gonna buy birding paraphernalia, birding books, because the Bird Festival has a trade show. They can buy binoculars and scopes. Okay, the birds that I'm going to talk to you about tonight were, I used Jim's photos. Him and his wife and I, we go out birding a lot, and Jim's always bringing his camera and taking pictures of these birds. So I said, this is my list. These are the birds I want to talk about. So I gave him the list. He goes, yep, I got that one. I got this. I got that one. So all the birds, the photos, bird photos, except one is two.
Yeah, you with the hawk.
Oh, and a couple other, the others. Funny, we threw in a couple of,
No, those are
Weird
mine. Those are
photo.
mine.
and so one is one of my pictures and one is Rick Nurchel. Some people know Rick Nurchel, I know, Joseph does. Okay, and the order I have these birds in are taxonomic order, which is the scientific listing of birds. And it's the order that birds are in a bird book, in the bird ID book. So, okay, if we could have the first bird, Jim.
Do you want to turn the light off or you
Oh,
want to leave it on?
yes. Thank you.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay.
Okay, these are black-bellied whistling ducks, and I think they're the most beautiful duck we have down here because they have bubblegum pink legs and these orange bills, big white eye ring, and they're called whistling ducks because that's the sound they make when they fly. If you ever heard a flock of whistling ducks go over, you know. Okay, Jim, could we hear that call? How many have heard that before? Have you heard the ducks go over? Okay, next slide, please. Okay, these are plain chachalakas. They look like a pheasant. They act like a roadrunner. Sometimes people get confused. And if there's one bird I've heard mispronounced, it's the name of that bird. I've heard it every way, but I tell them, you know that dance, the cha-cha? We'll say cha-cha-laka. And a story I heard from a naturalist at one of the state parks, I won't name, he told me this story and he's really good and I believed him. And he said how they got their name was that early settlers saw them. The male would fly up on a limb and he would say, cha-cha, cha-cha. And then the female would see him and she'd hop on a limb and she'd cozy up to him and she'd say, laka, laka, laka. So there you go, cha-cha-laka. They do fly up to trees, they eat fruit, and they eat the buds of leaves. And if you ever heard a racket, and I don't know how many of you heard, when they see a snake, this is when I work at Bentsen, where they are 30, they could be 30 to 60 of them. When I throw out that suet, they come running from all over. So I've counted as little as 30 and as many as 60 at one time. And if they see a snake, a javelina, or a hawk, they go crazy. One of them starts the alarm call, and then they all start in. And last week, I don't know what they saw. They went on for over an hour. And it's what I think they're saying is, it's a hawk, it's a hawk, it's a hawk, it's a hawk. So you've probably heard that, right? Okay, next slide,
Do
please.
you want to play the song?
Oh, yeah, play the song. Is it their warning call? Yeah, see? What did I tell you? Thank you, Jim.
I'm not done.
Oh, it's not done. Sure you weren't there last week taping that?
Yeah.
Okay, next slide. Neotropic cormorant. Cormorants used to be called snake birds because if you see them in the water, you can't see their body. The only thing you see is their neck with their head sticking out, and they look like a snake, so they're called snake birds. Fish make up their diet mainly. And they nest in colonies with other water birds, and they'll use the same nest over and over again for years. Okay, next slide. The hook-billed kite. This is a tropical and subtropical bird, a hawk, or it's a kite in the kite family. And it can be seen in Ecuador, Brazil, Bolivia, northern Argentina, and we get it sometimes in the valley. And you can identify them when they're soaring up high. I look up, they have big paddle wings that pinch in at the waist, and then they have black bars on their tail. They're the only places I've seen them are Santa Ana and at the Hawk Tower and Bentsen Hawk Tower. And you're lucky if you see one birds. I mean, oh yeah, thank you for that. I had that down. They eat tree snails. So, and the tree snails are in dark shaded area, moist areas. Usually on that back road to the Hawk Tower, there's lots of snails in there at Bentsen. And I don't know if Jim and I saw, we're in the car, we're going down the road, him and his wife are in the front seat, I'm in the back seat. And I see a bird fly across over by river pontoon, where that river pontoon boat is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the riverside. So we're driving by the riverside, and this bird, I don't know what, flies across the road, and I go, Jim, it's a hook-billed kite. And it was so close, but it had great picture. Where's his camera equipment? And the back seat, by the time he got out of his car and slammed the door, the bird was gone. So that's our hook-billed kite story. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, Harris's hawk, isn't that beautiful? The Harris's hawk is, these birds travel together in a family group. They have red patches on their wings, on the shoulders, and usually you can't tell that much, but yellow feet and a yellow bill. And they travel in families. The young stay together with the parents until the next hatchlings are in the nest. And we've had, well, Andrea Gibbons came down here to do her master's degree, and she did it on a hook-billed kite. So she climbed a lot of trees and banded a lot of baby Harris's hawks. Okay, the next slide is the gray hawk. This is the rare woodland hawk. They're making a comeback in the valley. We're seeing more and more of them. They nest in remote riparian forests. They have gray wings with black tips, and they have black and white bars on the band on their tail. Next photo. Okay, this is Bill Clark. He does banding of hawks. Mostly, he's interested in the Harris hawk, and he's banded a lot of those. These are white-tailed hawks. So he goes out. Have you ever gone with him, Tony? Okay. He invites ACUS, the ACUS Audubon Society to come, and that's how I end up going with him that day. And I think it's most interesting. How does he catch these hawks? You know, hawks fly or up in a tree. He has made this cage, I call it a cage, out of wire, chicken wire. And it's probably maybe 15, 16 inches long and maybe about 10 inches wide and about, maybe 4 inches tall. And in there he puts a mouse and a house sparrow. And I asked why he does both. Well, he said if you just put one in there, it just stays still. But two, they keep chasing each other around. He said they keep moving, and the hawk sees that. And he has these little loops of filament fishing line, and he makes these little hoops on all the wires on the top of that cage. When they come down to get the mouse and the house sparrow, they get their toes and toenails caught in those filaments, and they stay there until he comes and gets them. And when he sees that happen, because he'll keep, probably be a quarter of a mile away, and when he sees that happen, he rushes down there and gets that hawk before it entangles himself, brings it. So he had gotten two at the same time on this day. So he brought them out, wanted to know if I wanted to hold one. Yes, I'd hold one. But then the whole time I'm smiling, but I wasn't inside smiling, I'll tell you, because he kept saying to me, hold tight, don't let go, and don't get your hand by his bill, he'll hook you, and don't get your hands by his feet, because he'll claw you. And I was so worried about getting injured by this hawk that I listened to everything he said, but you know, before we left that day, he was bleeding. They had gotten him, and what he does after he catches them, he brings them to the tailgate of his pickup truck, and he has these juice cans, the big, like tomato juice, pineapple juice cans, and he cuts the end off both of them, and he takes this bird head first, shoves it in this can, doesn't move, stays right there. Then he
It's in the picture.
oh, it's in the picture.
Between his legs.
Oh, it's between his legs, yeah, see that, you can see. So he grabs it, and he sticks the head first in there, that holds it still, so he can take his measurement. He measures, length of the wing, length of the bill, overall length of the body. He pulls the feather to take a blood sample, and then he bands it, and then he lets it go. And he always told me that, you know, once, they're pretty smart, he said, once I catch them, I never catch them again, they're not the same bird anyway. And he is a hawk expert. He has written books on hawks here for our area, but he's also written, like, he studied hawks in India, and he wrote a book on hawks. And he bans birds every single week. Goes out. The next slide, please. The yellow metal falcon. They're colorful as the kestrel, but they're bigger and bolder. They have a black and white face and tricolored underparts. See, first it starts with white on the chest, and then it's darker middle, and then the reddish color underneath. They catch birds and insects in midair, and they used to be common in dry grassland of southwest U.S., but now are endangered. And they were introduced over the years. The recovery began in 1980 when they released 4 captured breeding birds, and they released them at King Ranch. In 1986, 4 more were released. And the last breeding pair was, they brought from New Mexico in 1952, and they released it in Manitoba. In 1995, more birds were released. And in the year 2000, bird council, and they found 30 territorial pairs breeding in the area. What's, Tony, what is the name of that property that Laguna Anastosa owns? Yeah, the Bahia Grande. And you can see that there. I'd see them on old Route 100 from Brownsville to Port Isabel. I usually can see them on that road.
Unless you're with
But
me.
unless I'm with Jim, every time I take him down here, him and his wife, no, I'm sorry, this is where they should be. There's some nesting boxes out there. That's how they try to help the species increase in numbers. They have these, I don't know how big they are, maybe big as half this table, that wooden box. It's got a bottom and a top, and they have these dowels. So the bird can get in there and nest and raise young, but prey, the predators can't get in there. And so on Route 100, on the first turn, I always tell people, look off to your left, there's a nesting box, and there's always one palmetto falcon.
No, there isn't.
No, there's okay, next slide, please. Okay, the crested caracara. This is a bird of prey. It has a dark body and white around its neck, black cap, and red around its face. It eats carrion, for those who know what carrion is. It's roadkill for everyone else, roadkill. And they will patrol the roads early in the morning because they're trying to get there before the hawks, before the vultures get there, so they want it. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is the Inca dove. It's our smallest dove. And it's, you see it's got what we call scales on the feathers. Does it look like little scales? And it's very tiny, pink feet. And they will travel together. Usually if I see one, I see more than one. 4, 5, 6, 7. And they have, when they fly, if you look, they have rufous coloring under their wings. And when they fly, their wings make a rustling noise. Oh, one thing about these, when it's cold, I don't know how many have been out birding and it's cold, they get really close together to conserve heat, right up against each other. And I've never seen it, but one of the bird books said that they will pile on top of each other to conserve heat, and they call it a dove pile. Next slide, please. Okay, white-tipped dove. Now, this is our largest dove, and most of you find this bird on the ground. It eats on the ground, it walks on the ground, and I see quite a few around the nature center at Bentsen. I counted as many as 6 at one time on both sides. And whatever seed falls out of the feeder, they're on the ground pecking it away. Now, I had a young ornithologist. For the birding festival, I did a few trips at Bentsen, guiding at Bentsen. And we took a van down, and I had this young lady, a birder. I didn't know how much of a bird she was, but she said, now I just say, oh, there's a white-tipped dove. Okay. And she said, no, take a look at it. Look at the back of its neck. She goes, look at those lavender, beautiful purple feathers it has. And I never noticed that before. And I found out, no wonder she knew so much about these birds. She's an ornithologist.
So isn't there another invasive dove that looks similar?
Yes, the Eurasian collared dove.
How,
They have a black collar around their neck. And you see them out in the ranch land.
Fort Isabel?
Yeah, and they're spreading all over. They're taking over that. I don't know if anybody's going to do anything about it, but we don't see them too much down here unless I go out towards the ranch area. Then I see them. Next slide, please. That's what she said. That bird should have been called lavender neck dove instead of white-tipped dove. I thought that was an interesting comment. Okay, this bird is a monk parakeet, and it's pale gray under its throat, down on its belly, and it has a gray face and green, nice pale green. And the only place that I know of you can see them is down in the village of the city of Hidalgo. And they are communal nesters, and when they make a nest, it's like, my mother would call it a bushel basket, like this big around, and they do it around transformers on telephone poles, and they're all over town, and they feed on the ground, so that's where a good place to go for them. But if you really want to see these birds, go down to 5th Street. There's a few of those basket nests on there of the nest.
The ones that are in big cities like New Orleans, New York, Chicago.
Yep.
Thank you, because I didn't know that.
We haven't taken
Really?
Yeah, it is.
It's probably years ago, it's probably AP or something. Non-native, yeah. But ABA, they allow us to count that. The monk. So I think after a bird is escaped in the wild for so many generations, I don't know if it's true, I've heard 9, I don't know if that's true or not. They will now consider it an ABA bird. Important bird. Okay, next slide. Red crown parrot. This is a common. Part down. This is a large parrot, and it's in the Amazon parrot family. It's got a blocky body, blocky head, and short square tail. So people will say when these they can hear parrots and parakeets fly over. How do you tell the difference? Well, parakeets have a long green, parakeets, they have a long pointy tail, and parrots have a short square tail. So when you look up, you'll have that. So that's one way to tell. Now we have a parrot count quarterly, and we have counters. I think I've been doing it for about 7 years. So they go out quarterly and count how many parrots are seen in the area. So we have a team in McAllen who split up different areas. And so we go out on the same evening, at the same time, the same day, and so that the count in McAllen, Wesco, Harlingen, and Brownsville, we're not counting the same parrots. So then we get a better idea of the valley. And I know you're probably, I'd say around 350 is my past. They never record not the we're coming with the report. I would say in the past, I think 350 to maybe even up to 600. So, and we get, yeah, we do the counts. And Robert does it in count, I do it in count, and does it in river. Oh.
Yeah, brown.
Yeah.
Well, if you're interested in participating, Velma, Z, and, okay. Okay, if you're interested in helping out with this or participating, get a hold of Wesco.
Estero.
And he will put you on to the team. What else? Oh, yes, there's a cooperation between Mexico and the U.S. Trying to preserve the birds and increase the numbers. And they have a team, and they come. Our team goes to Mexico sometimes, and they come here. And I participate in one of the meetings they have to talk about the parrots. And we had a young Boy Scout. He was an Eagle Scout doing a project. Because one of the things that's difficult for these parrots is to find a nesting place. And sometimes the tree falls down. Sometimes people try to take the tree down and rob the nest, take the parrots for pets, sell them, whatever. So that's a problem. But this Eagle Scout was building nests for these parrots to see if this would work. And he was doing PVC pipe about 10 inches diameter and I don't know, 4 feet, 4 feet deep, and putting a big hole at the top. And they were attaching them to telephone poles around. They're starting to be successful, but I haven't heard lately. Next slide, please. Rubillani. Now this is an all-black bird it's in the cuckoo family, and it has a large bill, and they called it groove bill because that's what it has. It has these grooves on both sides of the bill. It's not a permanent resident. It's something sometimes like April through October. They can be seen in dense thickets near water. And usually I've seen them in Santa Ana and by the Nature Center in Bentsen. And you can I identify by their call. To me, it sounds like a rubber ducky, a bath toy. You squeeze that, we hear that sound, Jim? See the squeak? Squeak. Thank you. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, this is the common parroquet, and they are night foragers. They sleep all day in the litter and the branches on the ground, and they're very hard to see. And sometimes when I take people out or with me birding, and I'll say, it's right there, see it, see it, see it. So they're really hard to pick out, and you can hear them at night. I do where I live in Alamo. I have behind my back fence an orange grove, and I hear them at night, and they repeat it over and over. So you go to bed, open the door of your house and listen. Puree, 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 over and over again. Can we hear that sound? Puree. Have anybody ever heard that? I love it. I think it's a pretty call. Okay, is there anything I want to say about that? They fly at night and they keep their mouth wide open, and they have little structures on both sides, and when it hits the moth, they catch it. Yes. Oh, they're having a hard time. Okay. This is the eye right here. See, and it's outlined in white. And this is its mouth. It's coming over the bill. It has a big mouth when it opens it up to be eating the moths, flying bugs. Can you see it now? Here's the beginning of it. It goes around, here's the tail, and then back around.
This one's a little easier to see because the eye is open. Usually they're sleeping, and then it's even harder to see it.
Oh, might see them out on the road. So. Back, right in the road, and their eye. Buff belly. Three or 400. This one.
Rufus.
And so this one is the bird sunlight. It's head and chest. This one. Down for should have buff belly. Found and all.
Oops, I don't know how that one got in there.
You never know what you're going to see. Okay, this is kingfisher. It's the largest of 3 kingfishers. Kingfisher because it likes to perch up high. And it has a fall. And probably see it around the island. And I got to tell you, 1970 was first nest, and then 2 other nests, and it was 85 cents in here. 1895. This wasn't found. Like to
Really?
nest on banks, dirt banks of hillside. The bank has to be at least 15 feet.
Yeah, they're not hearing you online really well. So we're trying to fix that.
The next bird is the group, and it's green, and it's hard because it likes to rest, perch on lower. So I tell people green, yeah, close to the wall, to the water. Don't.
Maybe move the owl back a little bit. Set the owl.
Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, this is the golden fronted woodpecker. It's one of two woodpeckers that we have here in the valley. And you probably see it in your neighborhoods. They can't hear me. How's that? Still? Is that better? It was coming back at me. Okay, it needs to go out. Okay, it's common in suburban areas, and it forages low on the ground. You may find it on the ground, trying to find bugs, and it eats arthropods and fruit. They commonly nest, make nest holes in telephone poles, so that's probably where you hear them or see them up in the telephone poles in your neighborhood, or fence posts. Or yes, or your house. People ask me, why are they tapping on my house? I go, it's a mating call or a call that they send out, defending their territory, whatever. They like soft wood of the willow, black willow, and the sugar hackberry. And they like abandoned palm trees.
Yep.
Next slide. Okay, this is the second woodpecker we have in our area. It's the ladderback woodpecker. It's smaller, and if you see the bird from the back, you'll see why. Its black and white feathers are in rows, so that's how it got the name ladderback. It's saying it's small. It's 7¼ inches long, and it tolerates areas with smaller trees, unlike the golden fronted woodpecker. Next slide, please. Okay, this is one of our very special birds in the valley. It's a northern beardless tranulet. People come here and they want to, this is a bird they're always asking for. I know at Bentsen, they're easier found at Bentsen or Anzalduas. They're a small bird with a gray crest. And they have a very short, see the bill? Very short, stubby bill. Next slide, please. The vermilion flycatcher. This is a very attractive bird. They're unmistakable. The males have a red body and this red crown on their head. And if you see one on a branch like this, watch it. It flies out, grabs an insect, and usually it'll come back to the same branch, the same perch that it was on. They feed by flying out and grabbing an insect and then coming back. And they can be found near ponds and golf courses for all you golfers out there. Next slide, please. Okay, this is the brown-crested flycatcher, and it has a brown crest on its head, how it got its name, a white throat, yellow belly, and it has some rufous feathers on the outer wing fails, the feathers, the primary feathers, and then some on its tail. And they aren't here year-round, but they come in the spring. Oh, we didn't put a call in for them, but that's how I find them too, only by their call. And I can't reproduce that. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, probably everyone who's seen this bird. I bet you all should raise your hand. Yes, they're in our neighborhoods. They're all over, And I always say, they say their name. Too bad all the other birds don't tell us who they are, right? They yell, kiskadee, kiskadee. And they like to breed in cactus. Can we hear that call, Jim? You can usually hear them long before you see them, right? Sometime put it up. And when they do, you can see this little yellowish orange patch down the center. Yeah, I've seen that before. When they get like angry, if you can say that about birds, but they get disturbed and they'll put that crest up right in the center. And beautiful yellow feathers. Okay, now, okay, next slide, please. Okay, this is a Couch's kingbird, and we had to use the same picture for tropical kingbird because they look exactly the same. And some people can say they can tell this little minute difference, but most birders can't. I can't tell. They're exactly the same. The only way is listen for them to call. And Jim's going to play first the Couch's song and see if you can tell the difference between the two. Okay, now the tropical. You know when they call? When they fly off their perch. You'll see them on wires, telephone wires. When they fly off to get a bug, then they usually make the call. When I see one, I go, move, call, do something, so I know who you are. Okay, and the tropical. I think that one's more fluty, more musical. Next slide, please. Scissortail flycatchers. We see those in the spring when they come and go north to the Midwest, and then when they pass through on migration going south. And they are also up on wires or the wires on fence or up on the phone wires. And they're also flycatchers. They go out and catch bugs, flying insects. And when they do, their long tail feathers split out into a V, which looks like scissors. So I think maybe that's how they got their name. Okay, next slide, please. This is the rose-throated Picard. And I'll tell you, when I'm working at Bentsen and the visitors come from out of state, they're always asking me, do you have any rose-throated Picards here? Well, they're not here all the time. And if there's one or perhaps two in the valley at any one time, that's it. They're stocky, where they got a large squarish head and short tail. And males are grayer and have the rose-throated. Only the males have the rose-throated feathers on their throat. Next slide, please.
Oh, how did that get there?
That one's for you. That one's for you. It's a beautiful bird, though.
It's a bobcat.
Okay, the next bird, green jay, and that's probably one of the most colorful birds we have down here. I mean, look at it. It's got a yellow belly, yellow feathers under the tail, and it has yellow outer feathers when it flies. It looks like black, but that's more like navy blue on a bib, and then this real pale, pretty blue on its forehead. So I mean, look at all the different colors it has on it. It's a gorgeous bird, and I have no idea. I didn't know there was any way to tell a difference between male and female. Anybody want to offer that? No? Okay. They're the same.
Pretty much. Yeah.
They're the same. No blue jays. No, there's one, brown jay. Brown jay at Santa Margarita Ranch up Starr County. And you got to pay $90 if you want to see it. Oh my God. Well, there's like 3 or 4 specialty birds up there now. But I don't go because I heard it's an uphill climb and it's gravelly and it's at night and I'm getting too old for that. Let me see. The green jay, it lives in a tropical and subtropical forest. Um, it occurs throughout the valley. But they're absent from Padre Island, Tony. No green jay out there because you just have grasslands. You don't have trees. You haven't reported about them? Have you seen them there? Yeah, okay, well, they're making their way. They're not gonna cross that bridge. Oh, the green, the dark green, isn't that pretty? Two colors of green. I think that's a beautiful bird. Oh, I can wear my blue jay, my green jay, earrings. I wore my, longbill thrasher earrings.
You want to play this song?
Yeah, play the song. Something interesting about this bird that the young birds stay with their parents until the next breeding season. They don't feed the babies or help the parents do that, but they do help them defend the territory against predators, and they travel in family groups. Next slide, please. Black crested titmouse. Isn't he cute? Light gray underneath, dark gray on top. And you see this crest? I call it a dunce cap. Most of them are darker than that and maybe wider than that. But it looks like a dunce cap to me. And it has this short little stubby bill. And it's related to the tufted titmouse, which in northern Texas and up north, we have the tufted titmouse, right? You have it in your state. In some places, some areas in Texas, the two overlap. So it makes them a little bit harder to tell apart, but there is a difference. Okay, next slide, please. This is the cactus wren. It nests in cactus, usually the prickly pear cactus. And it's fairly common in the valley, but it's decreasing due to continual destruction of brush and brush clearing for shopping centers and housing development. So that's their biggest threat. And we hear that song, it's very distinctive. To me, it sounds like, those old Tin Lizzy cars where they had to crank them and it cranks over and over. Okay, let's listen and see if you can hear that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next slide, please. This is the clay-colored thrush. It used to be called clay-colored robin because thrushes and robins, they're in the same family. The robin is a thrush in the thrush family. So now this is a clay-colored thrush. And people come to the valley, they want to see that bird. And we have them at Bentsen. I don't know where else they have them. Anybody else know where you can find them?
Quinta.
Sarah, Quinta. Oh, yeah, that's right, Quinta.
Ever.
Yeah, and the John Brush, his family, they banned birds over at Quinta, and I can't tell you how many, 30, 40 birds, clay-colored thrush that they banded. And I go out there for a feeder watch and bird count every Friday morning, and I'll be lucky to find, I see a lot of them. Maybe I find one or two that have been banded, and I go, where are they going? Neighborhood, I guess. Next slide, please. This is the long-billed thrasher, like my earrings. And long-billed thrasher, and it has a large black hook bill. See its bright yellow eye, and then look at its belly. It has a white background with these long, dark streaks. And they also feed on the ground, and they call them thrashers because that's their breeding habit. They take that bill and they turn over leaves and litter, the leaf litter, finding whatever they can get under there, any bug or worm or whatever. Next slide, please. Now this is the curved-bill thrasher. It's paler and it doesn't have those long dark streaks on its bellies. It's got like blotches, but it has a big yellow eye. and lives in the same, shares the same territory with the long-billed thresher. Can we hear that bird song? It's musical. It's got a pretty song. And next slide, please. Okay, got to look at this one on the ground. This is the olive sparrow, and this sparrow eats on the ground, feeds on the ground, builds its, and it builds its nest close by the ground. And I found an interesting fact that said that these birds live their whole life less than 3 feet above the ground. So it used to be called the Texas sparrow, but now it's the olive sparrow. And usually I see them, they'll run out from underneath brush in the woods. You won't see them flying. I never see them anywhere but on the ground. So if you're looking for that bird, you'll have to check the ground. They prefer dense brush and forage on the ground. Over at Bentsen, do they? At the store? Interesting. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, I bet everybody knows what this bird is, but I had to throw it in because people come down here, they want to see a great-tailed grackle. Go to any intersection in the valley, right? You'll see thousands of them. But other parts of the country, they have common grackle. That's what we have in New York and the northern states. And then boat tail is northern part on the water, Texas, around Louisiana, and they even have them in the Atlantic. And I went on a bird guided bird trip with Pete Dunn. Remember Pete Dunn? He's a very famous birder, wrote many books. Well, this is how he told us how to tell the difference between a boat-tailed grackle and a great-tailed grackle. He goes, if you see this bird on the ground, go up to it, bend over and say, "Are you from around here?" And if the bird says, that's a boat-tailed grackle. I never forgot that.
And you got a question?
Got a question? Yes? I knew someone would ask that. People always want to know, why are they hanging out there? No one knows. We only can speculate. They think, you see how bright and lit it is wherever they are? That's protection from predators, owls, whatever, that they can see them. They can be seen, but they can see the predators before it comes. I've heard things like they smell French fries from all the fast foods, because they're on the intersections too, right? They smell. What else have I heard why they're there? If they can find something, but they didn't come for the French fries. It's a laugh. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, this is the hooded oriole, and this was probably taken at Bentsen. I know that's a good place to see hooded orioles. And the way I tell them apart, one from the other, the Baltimore oriole has, from their chest to their shoulder, they have this little patch of feathers. I call it a comet of orange feathers. But this one has a white bar on its wing. And this hooded oriole is a little bit smaller than the Altamira, but you wouldn't notice them unless they were side by side. But so on the hooded, look for that white bar, and Altamira, look for that comet of yellow orange into their shoulder. Okay, next bird. This is the Altamira oriole. It has black bill, black around its eye, black bib, and it has a 7-note call, which Roy over at Bentsen can imitate exactly. You've heard him, right? Calling if he has a group of people coming in, he'll do it, and then the bird answers them and comes in, so they get to see it. Could we hear the call, Jim? Well, he repeated it because that was more than 7 notes. Pretty, yeah. I usually hear it before, and then I'll Look up in the trees. The Altamira Orioles arrived. Now, if you're interested in birds, there's guided bird walks at most of the parks here. I know Bentsen has one, Santa Ana has one, Estero. You just have to call the park and ask, and you'll go out with experienced birders that will help you find birds, ID birds, and help you learn about the birds. Okay, I got my information from the Macaulay Library, which is in Cornell's Department in Ornithology. They keep, people put bird pictures on eBird reports, and you can get information from them. And the other place I got my information was Nesting Birds of Tropical Front Deer of the Lower Rio Grande Valley of Texas. And that was written by Tim Brush, John Brush's father. And that's the end of my presentation. I'd like to thank Jim for his photos that we used and thank him for running the computer and helping me do this. Are there any questions? Bird question? Yes, Tony? Yes, yes. It's a northern bird, but Ann, you want to tell them about what you found? Yeah, 2 people have seen it, so. You can identify them real well. Well, yeah, they do that. Well, what was the bird we went up to Corpus to see?
Oh,
No, what was that?
no, the cattle tyrant.
A cattle tyrant, right. So I don't know if it's true, but I heard the story that cattle tyrant ended up in the downtown section of Corpus Christi. See it? It was there. And they're thinking, the theory was it came up from Colombia or Argentina, some South American country on a boat. It rode the boat and it got off in Corpus Christi. So, and I've been on pelagic trips where we had a warbler land on the boat. So yeah, I'm sure your fishermen, shrimpers find birds landing on their boat too. So. Oh, wow. Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
wow.
But are there any questions?
Just tell them that we got the songs from Audubon.
Oh, we got the songs from Audubon. Jim got the songs from Audubon and figured out how to put them on the screen and push a button and get the song. So I couldn't have done it without him. Yes, Linda. This bird right here, that's an Altamira Oriole. Okay. What's the difference between the Altamira and the hooded?
So that's
Okay.
the hooded.
Okay, that's the hooded right there because of that white bar on its wing. You want to go back? Okay, you can't tell this much on this one, but see the orange goes into a comet. I call it a comet on the shoulder, that orange piece, and they all have it. Yes, yeah. Okay, this lasted an hour, so you can get 1 hour of AT. The end. Oh, this is the Ann and Ann show tonight. Now I'm putting my president's hat on.
Do you want to take a break first?
Oh, yeah, you want to take a break? I can't go to the bathroom, but you can go get something to eat or snack or something. Okay, I give you 5 minutes, maybe 7. Fighting.
They are.
Other countries. Oh,
A lot.
oh, Okay, we're gonna start. We're gonna start the business part of the meeting. Yes, Mama, Mommy and Daddy, they're taking care of me. Okay, the meeting will come to order at 7:37. Ask for the secretary. Where is she? She's over there on the phone. She's not gonna.
Okay, bye.
Go now. Oh, oh, okay, all right. That's success. Okay, well, did you all get the minutes of the meeting, last meeting? Any changes, anything? Okay, let me see, treasurer's report.
I can put it up, Gail, if you want me to. Give me a second. Well, I gotta share it now. Yeah, but people online can't see it. Now they can.
So you would have gotten this in an email if anybody has any questions, but it's pretty much what our activity looked like for January. Continuing to have membership paid, and so if you haven't paid your membership, I will take that tonight. That is ongoing, trying to get that wrapped up, hopefully. Have some t-shirt stuff going on. New class, so we're seeing some of that activity on there. The meeting rental that you see there is for our December meeting and for January. So, and that's it. That. So just a reminder about your membership dues. If you want to pay those tonight, I will be.
Yes. I found out from Kathy that we have 44 members who have not paid their dues. So they don't pay their dues and they don't do their hours, they put on inactive. Jennifer, do you want to talk to us about programs?
I'm chewing. Okay. So thank you so much to Anne and to Jim for helping her put that presentation together for us. I loved every bird. Every bird is my favorite. And so next month we are going to have Tom Butler. He's going to talk about the solar eclipse, which is coming up on Monday, April 8th. Yay! I'm very excited about this. And so thank you to everyone who brought snacks. There were some quality snacks back there this time. So I would like to challenge people next time to bring your best solar eclipse party food. So that could be sun-dried tomato dip or sun chips or moon pies, Sunny D. So get creative. And I hope that we will have some great refreshments at the next meeting and everybody will get in the spirit. I have my solar eclipse earrings on, so if you have your solar eclipse gear, it's like it's a practice run for the real thing in April. For the April 8th, Monday.
Okay, Ronnie's not here. Let's see, that's where I got. We have 44 people, like I said, did not pay their dues, 65 active members plus students. So, and if you want to get some hours in, 80 hours in, all the recertification pin is the Western Diamondback Rattlesnake. And there's a man named Chip Ruthven, and he did a program for state. And you can go to the state website and check TMN Tuesday, and you can see the rattlesnake. It is wonderful. I hope everybody checks that out. When they did it for the first time, I joined in that time, there was 560 people watching from all over the state, all the different chapters. Okay, Anita, is Anita on? Okay. Joseph, do you have anything you wanna? Nothing. Okay, Robert, you're up next. The Home and Garden Show. Yes, yes, it's right.
Oh, but not on the original. Okay, so the Home and Garden Show, Rio Grande Valley Garden Show. Have no communication whatsoever from the organizers yet. By now, we should have gotten all of the information, the contracts, et cetera, et cetera. We have not.
I closed the presentation.
Neither has the Master Garden. We kind of worried about it, but we're still going ahead as if there is. I'm sure there is going to be. They just to get their information. So for now, just mark it on calendars, March 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, right? Am I right? Yeah, March 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Those are the dates of the event itself. Two of them are half days. I believe Friday and Sunday are half days, and Saturday is a full day. So if you want to sign up now, you can do that. Those of you that are not sure you're going to be available on those dates, don't sign up until maybe 2 weeks prior to the event would be good. That way we can set up a schedule. So we can have more or less 6 to 8 per shift, like maybe 2-3 hour shifts. I think that's what we're going to be having. If you're available for the whole day, let us know. We will put you to work wherever. We do have speakers. Anita is in charge of the speakers. The sessions for the speaking events are from 30 to 45 minutes, I believe, is what it is. Last year we had 6 speakers, including Tom, Anita, Bill in the back over there, Bill Rich, and I can't remember who else. But at times, you know, people just go to the show to go see the different booths that they have. It's a home improvement show, plus they do gardening and stuff like that. Ideas for your gardens, and that's the focus for our being present at that event, is to kind of give them information about using native plants, the benefits of using native plants instead of the regular house plants that they buy at Home Depot, et cetera, et cetera. So that's our purpose there. That's what we're pushing or trying to get the public to understand. So at the booth that we get for free, because those booths are 10 by 10 or $1,000 a piece.
Wow.
So we save $2,000 because we get 2 10 by 10s where we set up a plant sale and of course do outreach. In other words, give them information about the chapter, what we do in the community, et cetera, and about the program itself, how they can sign up to be a Master Naturalist. So that's our focus and our purpose there. In return, or what we, in order for us to get those 2 booths, we have to provide the speakers. So right now, I think we only have 3 signed up. So if you have anything, or if you're a presenter and we've done this before, we want to make sure that makes a connection with what a home show is about, and of course, using native plants in our case. Also, anything tied to nature would be good, but can be tied to also home improvement. See what else can I say about that? Again, I'm pretty sure we'll get that information soon because we do have deadlines that we got to meet. Right now, with all this rain, I'm sure you're going to have plants. If you have native plants at home, they'll be sprouting. So take advantage of between now and maybe the week before the show to pot up those upstarts. I've been asked what kind of media. Well, I use gardening soil with the potting mix. That's what I use for mine. You can use whatever you feel is maybe best for you that you have. So contact any one of us, Bill Rich over there in the back, myself, Robert Hernandez, for those of you who don't know me yet, and Anita Westbrook. Anita is the one in charge of the speakers, though. The rest of us are in charge of whatever's taking place, the plans and et cetera. Do I have any questions? Yes, ma'am. Bill? No, I'll send it out. I'll send out a sheet and let you know what times and when you're available, whether it's AM, PM, et cetera. And then we will schedule you, and maybe 3 or 4 days before the event, we'll send out the schedule. Okay. Right now, we have about maybe 6 people that really know that they're going to be there. So we have those names already. Thank you.
Poor River, she gets skipped all the time. You're okay.
Oh, one more thing, I did send out. Some of you might say, well, I don't know anything about plants. It'll be helpful if you kind of like know a little bit something. There will be a plant expert there anyway. But those of you that plan to help us with that, I did send out some a PDF on the different plants that we're going to have for sale. So look over those. I'll probably send it out again, and look over those to familiarize yourself with the plants that will be available.
Awards and recognition. Okay, let's see. I hope I remember everything she told me. Yep, we'll go down the list. Recertification. We got 2 people aren't here, and the next one is me. I get my Western Diamondback rattlesnake
All
pin.
right.
Where am I gonna put it?
And River wants.
Wow. Say all the names at once?
No, anyway.
Oh, okay. Amanda Hernandez, Ellie Kidd, Janie McGee. Janie, you want to come up and get your, guys, come get your rattlesnake. River. Come get your rattlesnake.
Speech, speech.
Yes, you can clap for these people. They worked hard. Velma. Velma got her. She worked hard, right, Velma, to get your, you wanted to get it the first month we got these pins, right? Oh, and he didn't get his, did he? Oh, Allie and Joe. Oh, I thought. Got a little bit more to go. And Anita Westerville. Okay, 100-hour milestones. Amanda Hernandez. 250-hour milestones. Not here. Lori Kidd and Ellie Kidd and Lori Archambault. And we have an award for somebody who is here. 500-hour pin, Ann Whitney. Did she leave? Laugh, come on. Oh, the rest. Donna? Is Donna online?
Donna left, I think. I think she left. Is she on? All right.
I just got back on. Sorry about that. Yeah, it
Okay,
kicked,
this is
my
the back.
internet went down. Yes, I don't know if Joseph had the minute to put the slide up. I wanted to remind everybody about the bat acoustic monitoring project. There was a TMN Tuesday presented by the Texas Nature Tracker people. That was just not a last month, but I think in between. And I've got information I'll send out, but I wanted to let everybody know there is an application online that you have to complete. They wanted a chapter coordinator, and I agreed to do that. They need other volunteers to do data analysis and to place the monitors, the acoustic monitors. And they hope to get some out to most of the chapters. This is going to be a multi-year project that has been approved by our board. And if you're interested, you need to watch the YouTube presentation, and I have a link there. It's easier to get to through YouTube. On the state side, all they have is the slides without any discussion. So the YouTube video is better to watch. The program sign up deadline is March 1st, and there is an application to become a volunteer for that program to fill out what you're interested in doing. And I will send this information out to the listserv, but I wanted to give everybody a heads up. So you still have a little time. You have till March 1st to decide if you want to help with that project.
Thank you, Donna. Hey, Jim, you want to give us a report on the new class?
I don't know that there's a lot to say. The class is going well, I think. I'm very pleased to see members of that class attend some online as well. Very energetic class. I think. I'm very pleased forward to seeing what they contribute. I will tell you that I'm going to be out of the country in the month of March. So Ann is going to take over from me because she doesn't have anything else to do. But if any of you would like to step up and help Ann through the month of March, I know I would, and she would appreciate it as well. Particularly as that's when a lot of the field trips are. So if you can come and help out at some of the field trips, that would really be appreciated.
Okay, Mary Baker, can you say a few words about what you and Kathy have been working on?
We've been We've been reaching out to members that haven't paid their dues, just to follow up and make some initial contact. And to Ann's point, there are 44 people that have not paid their dues for this year.
I want to give a little explanation of that. One person they called, she said, oh, I paid my dues in June last year. Well, June of last year was dues for 2023. Come January 1st, 2024 dues are due. So you can't say, I paid my dues in June of 23, I'm good till June of 2024. No, that's not how it works. So far we have that paid their dues and that are working on doing AT and reporting those hours and doing volunteer hours and reporting those. We have 65 active, which I would call active. We have 65 active members. So, okay, another thing, we have, Seth, what's Seth's last name? Seth Welliver, thank you. Well, Seth has a box of books, and this is the book, Plants of Deep South Texas. And the books sell for $30. He has a box of 10, and he won't just sell me one or two or three or four. He wants to sell the whole box, which I understand. So I'd like to take names for anybody. Call me if you're at home and you'd like one of these books. And tell me tonight if you want one. I'm taking orders so that we can see if we can sell all 10 of those books for him.
I'll,
And they're
Yeah.
$30 each.
I'll buy one.
Okay, Joseph said they're hard to find and not in print right now. It's a nice book. So, Plants of Deep South Texas. Think about it.
Sign me up.
Because sign you up for one. Oh, secretary, could you start making a list of people want a book? If people at home, if you're interested in a book, please call me
Or text,
or text me. Yes.
or chat in them.
I guess that's all I have. Does anybody have anything else? Robert, did I miss anything on the list?
Wow.
$65 on Amazon, so it's a good deal. Okay, Robert wants to have a second go at it here.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, for the, speaker presentations at the Home and Garden Show, like I started to say it, but I forgot to finish or follow up on it, follow through on it, is that sometimes the people won't sit around for 30 minutes to listen to a presentation because they're there to see other things that they might find more interesting. I don't know. But we can support our speakers by attending these sessions, and you get 18 hours for that, especially for those new students that are working on, for the, trying to be master naturalists or working on being master naturalists. So you can sit on and get 18 hours for that.
And one more thing, Gail, did you want to talk about the inventory so people are listening, what you're being required to do?
So one little task that has been kind of left by the wayside for a couple of years is an inventory or an asset list. And that's actually come under the treasurer's responsibilities. I saw that in my list of things to do. But unfortunately, with COVID, a lot of our things have gone home and been kept in homes. And also, we've kind of not been at the church, which is where we kept a lot of things. And so I am going to, I'm working on, I would like to have a list of different things that actually belong to the chapter. So anyone out there who is hearing this or here, if you have something that belongs to the chapter, equipment, books, supplies, anything that you're kind of keeping for the chapter and you kind of bring it back and forth. I have some, a lot of us do. I just would like to have that list and kind of put it together to see where we are as far as how much do we actually have out there. Do we need to rent a closet space or something like that, just to make sure that we have a central. So we're going to work through all of that, but we just need to have a list of things that belong to the chapter. So I would appreciate any help that I can get on that, and you can email it to me. That would be great, or to probably anybody, any of the board members. We're going to be putting that together. Thanks.
Thanks, Gail. Now, I forgot someone else on my agenda. Between this note and this note and this note and this note, I missed out asking a report from Judy Perkins. Sorry about that, Judy. If you want to come up and talk to us about advanced training.
Okay, well, first of all, I want to thank everybody who gives me heads up about things that they hear about advanced training, and keep doing it because I really like getting those. I try using some lists that Becky Jones gave me to go through everything and try to put out a list at the beginning of each month. And I try to supplement that throughout the month with things that I hear about. So thank you very much. I also wanted to mention that sometimes it's pretty easy to tell if something will count for AT. Other times, not so much. So Ronnie and I had a wonderful discussion, and he and I are sort of going to be deciding together whether or not something will count for AT. So if you have something that you're not sure if it's going to count, please email me and Ronnie at the same time. And that way, when I talk to him, he'll already have heard about it, or when he talks to me, I'll already know about it. I'm very excited to say that we have a field trip coming up. The Martin family has 45 acres of sandhill land north of Edinburgh and another 40 acres of land that they have converted into natural habitat. And so we are going out and either being led by Bill and or Audrey Martin on that field trip. It will be this coming Saturday. Hopefully we'll have good weather. I was glad it wasn't this past Saturday. And that's from 12 to 4. I've sent out the address where we'll be meeting at Bill Martin's house, which is in the area of the Sandhills and the other property. I will be bringing waters and snacks. And at this point, we have 18 people that have signed up for the field trip. So if you are here tonight and you have not signed up and would like to do so, please let me know and see me before you leave, and we'll get your name on the list. And there will be more field trips coming up. I'm in the process of researching a couple now that I hope I can share with you in the near future. Lots of places to go out and see. So, thank you.
You guys want to
Okay, the next meeting is the 18th of March. I think I was looking at a wrong calendar when I put down that other date, and the next board meeting is the 4th of March. So if there's nothing else, wait a minute, do I have anything else? Is there anybody else that I didn't call on that has a report? Okay. Okay, all right, then the meeting is adjourned and the time is 8:06, and you can get half an hour of volunteer time for attending the business meeting. Okay, thank you and good night.